The level of disillusionment out there is palpable. You see it, right? You see
We feel it.
The reservoir of disillusionment, the fact that everybody is sort of just out there saying, none of these people really represent me. None of these people speak for me, speak for my values, represent my voice.
Except for Nigel Farage, of course, but yeah.
But people are unaccountably not voting for people like that. Yeah, no, it's an interesting squaring of the circle, isn't it? Like, these people have always existed, right? Like, there's always fringe parties. There's always discontent with the centre parties. Everyone hates politicians.
Yeah. And we did have a populist movement, right? They're talking about real dynamics.
Yeah, and we have them in Australia too. You know, every 10 years or so, you have this wave of disillusionment with the major parties. The fringe parties get a bit more votes on the left sometimes as well as the right. People tend to move back to the centre parties. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, the centre parties are the centre parties because they are the parties that people want. That's why they vote for them. It's odd to me that the trigonometry guys don't recognize what it is that they are. Like, the self-presentation is that they are like a median person, like a man in the street. They represent common sense kind of views, and they set themselves up against these elite ivory towers and fancy ideological type people. But the people that are the people in the street, the typical average median type person, are voting for the major parties. Whereas these guys are advocating for what is a fringe view.
A fringe right-wing view. I find it so frustrating when, like, the politician that you feel most affinity with is Nigel Farage, and the guys that get you exercised are Lawrence Fox, and there's a part where Goodwin and Constantine are talking about how often they bump into each other, and, you know, they're often reading each other's Substacks and they find each other so insightful.
Welcome to Trigonometry.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. We have had you on the show a lot.
This is my third time.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like more because you always provide fantastic commentary on British and other politics.
Yeah. And we always bump into each other at various events.
That we do.
It's actually your fourth time, Matt.
Sorry. Maybe the one in the aftermath of the 2019 election was like a bit of a blur, so maybe I forgot that one.
Yeah, so we've done a few, but my point is we're always really interested to hear your take on things. Yeah, in addition to your books, you have a fantastic Substack that I read religiously, actually.
I read yours too.
Thank you.
I wonder, is it because they perhaps share some ideological presuppositions and interests? Yeah. You know, it's interesting the lack of awareness that's on display, but the cherry on the cake. So after all this talk about, you know, politicians not delivering, the system being rigged, this is what Oliver says about what can be done, you know, poses this question to Goodwin.
You won't meet many mainstream US Republicans today who are advocating a Reagan-type view of the world. Conservatism is changing in big ways, in important ways. I know you had Yoram Hazony on the show, and, you know, he's often made that very argument.
Matt, aren't we really just talking about the political system no longer being fit for purpose? If it doesn't represent the people that it should, then quite frankly, what's the point?
What's the point, Matt? What's the point of the political system then? Should we just chuck it in the bin?
I'm wondering, what is the alternative system?
If only someone in the past 100-odd years, 50, 60 years, had thought, or there'd been people who had tried that, you know, that had said, the people are not represented. I, the strong anti-immigration, pro-nationalist person, represent the true will of the people. I can't be bothered with your representative democracies. If only that had been tried and we could look back at history and see how it went.